anything and everything.
Do you ever wonder how to? Do you ever wonder why?
About anything and everything. Then Doris is your guide. Anything and everything will open your mind. Anything and everything with Doris. Anything and everything with Doris is online. Remember. Anything and everything with Doris.
You are listening to Anything and Everything with Doris podcast. This episode is brought to you by McNeese Construction. For when you need your site built right, McNeese Construction. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you've had a blessed week. And by the responses that you sent me on miracles, I can tell y'all have had several blessed weeks in your life. Some of these miracles that you sent in brought tears to my eyes. And while I know that you may not necessarily want me to use your name, but you've mentioned you could discuss this, I have so many of them. I could probably do a whole podcast series on miracles. That's how many responses I got. So what I'm probably going to do is every now and then at the end of an episode, no matter what I'm talking about, I'm going to want to end with a positive note on a miracle. So anyway, I've been trying for weeks to get this in. So many people have sent in about Lyme disease. Other things just wind up coming into my heart. So I have to get on today with Lyme disease. One thing I want to explain about medical professionals, now that I've actually worked in that field, I've learned that I'm really a bad patient. I don't go to the doctor very often. So when I do go, I sometimes have a hard time explaining what's wrong with me. And I think a lot of people do that. And so if you don't have a certain rapport with your doctor, it can make it more difficult for your doctor to give a proper diagnosis. And that's what happens with a lot of people with Lyme disease. It's not that the doctor doesn't know about Lyme disease, but if the doctor hasn't asked or you haven't told your doctor, well, I've been traveling either camping or hiking in the mountains or the woods or wherever, then Lyme disease isn't necessarily going to be one of the first things the doctor's going to want to look at. So when we go to the doctor, we need to be better at discussing what's going on in our lives, not just our symptoms. We get infected by Lyme disease from a specific black-legged tick. So if your doctor has no reason to think that you could have gotten bit by this tick, may not even be in the radar range of let's test for this. So let's figure out, what is Lyme disease? Lyme disease is a bacterial infection you get from the bite of an infected black-legged tick. Typical symptoms include fever, headache, fatigue, arrhythmia migrans, which is a characteristic skin rash. And if left untreated, the infection can spread to joints, the heart, and the nervous system. Laboratory testing is most helpful in correctly diagnosing Lyme disease. Now, over the years, Lyme disease has been taken more seriously than ever before. Many people understand the importance of wearing bug repellent when working or walking in wooded areas. Lyme disease has also been brought more publicly due to several celebrities, such as Avril Lavigne, who was bedridden for 5 months after being bitten by a tick in 2015. And then remember Shania Twain? She was bitten in 2003, and she called it an evil silent thing because her throat muscles were damaged, forcing her to have extensive speech therapy and vocal training. And if you like watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you might remember Yolanda Headed. She had been battling the condition since 2012, and she claimed, "I just want to crawl in a hole and wait for it all to pass." And then there was Chris Christopherson, who was actually told he had Alzheimer's until another doctor realized he really had Lyme disease. So what happened was all of these celebrities became infected with the Borrelia burgdorferi tick-carried microbe that causes Lyme disease. Now, antibiotics cure most Lyme victims if they start taking the drug soon after they get bit. But for about 1 out of 5, the condition can persist for months or even years after treatment. With about 300,000 people a year diagnosed with Lyme, that means 60,000 people are looking at a long-term disability. The reasons for post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome are not well understood, but it's known that if the bacteria is not killed off in their early stages, cultures of the bacteria enter a stationary phase, and these persister non-dividing cells are resistant to antibiotics. So you need to make sure to get diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease as soon as possible. For ongoing sufferers, there's some good news to report, and it comes in the form of essential oils. Molecular microbiologist and immunologist Ying Zhang from Johns Hopkins University, together with international colleagues, first tested the activity of 34 essential oils on persister forms of the Borrelia burgdorferi in stationary phase culture in 2017. They did this because essential oils are known to have various kinds of antimicrobial activity, and patients report improvements in symptoms. These patients take the oils orally, usually under the direction of health practitioners who know exactly what they're doing, and the dosages may well depend on the practitioner and the type of oil prescribed. So for many people, including myself, who love to work with essential oils, don't assume that you can cure yourself with them. Make sure you go to a practitioner that knows about this and can treat you and watch you closely to see how it's working with you. The success of these herbal experts inspired Dr. Zhang and his team to undertake a more formal study. In their research, many of the oils showed the ability to stop microbes, but not all. Powerful effects were seen in 23 oils at a 1% concentration, with 5 having strong activity at a weaker concentration of just 0.25%. Now these were oregano, cinnamon bark, clove bud, citronella, otherwise known as lemongrass, and wintergreen. Even at these very low concentrations, they were more effective than the best conventional medicine has to offer, such as the antibiotic daptomycin, which is prescribed for persister Lyme cultures. The first 3 of the 5 had remarkable activity, even at a very weak concentration of just 0.125%. The scientists found oregano, cinnamon bark, and clove bud had remarkable biofilm dissolving capability and completely eradicated all stationary phase cells with no regrowth. Now, biofilms are a matrix of compounds that bacteria surround themselves with to guard against immune system attack or antibiotics. For the follow-up study, recently published in a publication, Antibiotics, Dr. Zhang and 4 colleagues screened another 35 essential oils. In total, 18 oils were more effective than daptomycin at a concentration of 0.2%. 10 of these were said to have remarkable activity at just 0.1%. Standing at the head of the pack was garlic. Now, the research team found this exhibited the best activity, and this was as good as most of the active oils in the previous study. If you're well informed about herbal remedies, then you wouldn't be surprised about the effects of garlic. Garlic's antibacterial properties were described by the ancient Chinese and confirmed by Pasteur in the 19th century. Garlic has many health benefits, and people take it for protection against heart disease and cancer, although it was probably a lot more popular in the U.S. about 25 years ago. The two other best performers were allspice and myrrh. Allspice is commonly included as a flavoring agent in food processing and is known to act against bacteria. Traditionally, allspice is used to relieve digestive complaints. Since ancient times, myrrh has been used as an antiseptic for treating wounds and preventing infections. Lab studies show it acts against multiple strains of bacteria that can cause disease in humans. Also in the top 10 were spiked ginger lily, May Chang, palmarosa, lemon eucalyptus, amarice, cumin, and white thyme. Now, commenting on the study, Dr. Zhang said, and I'll quote, "These essential oils were even better at killing the persister forms of Lyme bacteria than standard Lyme antibiotics." End quote. He also said they look very promising as candidate treatments for persistent Lyme infection, but ultimately, we need properly designed clinical trials. So I find it very promising that the medical establishment is actually taking a serious look at essential oils. And then, of course, you may also find some nutritional supplements useful in addressing Lyme disease as well. And I'm not telling you that you should take it because you have Lyme disease. These supplements are great in other areas as well. So if you're already taking it, it could help if you should wind up with Lyme disease at some point in your life. These supplements suggested are Andrographis and artemisinin. They're herbs that treat a Lyme co-infection called Babesia. Krill oil, this omega-3 powerhouse, helps reduce inflammation and relieves Lyme symptoms. Astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that neutralizes toxins and relieves joint pain. And that's one of the symptoms of Lyme disease is joint pain. Probiotics promotes healthy gut flora and boosts your immunity. So of course that's going to help. Cilantro, that's a natural chelator for heavy metals. Quercetin, an antioxidant known to reduce histamine, which is usually high in Lyme patients. CoQ10, a potent antioxidant that relieves muscle pain, boosts cardiac health, and reduces brain fog. CoQ10 is one of my favorites that I like to take daily. Resveratrol. This antioxidant helps with detoxification and may treat the common co-infection called Bartonella. Curcumin, the active ingredient in the spice of turmeric, which eliminates neurological toxins and helps reduce brain swelling. Serrapeptase helps dissolve biofilms, GABA, and melatonin. Two great sleep supplements that will help address insomnia, a common complaint of Lyme sufferers. I also like to use valerian to help me sleep. That's my favorite. That's my go-to when I'm having trouble sleeping is valerian. Then you have transfer factors. They help boost your immune function. Grapefruit seed extract, known to kill bacteria, candida, and parasites, and may help treat the Borrelia bacterium in cyst form. And then we have whey protein concentrate, which may be useful as a dietary supplement. Now, since supplements are not FDA regulated, you need to always check their source for purity. Now, I want to tell you, before you take any supplement, check with your doctor, especially if you're already taking medications, because certain supplements can react and cause a health issue with another medication. Such as if you take metformin, they tell you to stay away from grapefruit, right? So if I was taking metformin and I wanted to try the grapefruit seed extract, I would ask my doctor first if that would be safe for me. And if he said no, then I know I have all these other options available. They also have what's called lumbrokinase, and it has been shown to be helpful to treat Lyme. Now, lumbrokinase is a group of 6 proteolytic protein-digesting enzymes that are derived from earthworms and has been successfully paired with antimicrobial remedies for the treatment of Lyme disease. Lumbrokinase is believed to effectively penetrate through thick clumps of gut bacteria known as biofilms, which are one of the several factors involved with Lyme. When pathogenic bacteria hide within biofilms, they can feed and replicate out of the reach of your immune system. As such, they remain strong and unaffected by any antimicrobial medication, including antibiotics and herbs that you may be taking. Lumbrokinase is helpful in breaking down fibrinogen and an important aspect of Lyme treatment because the pathogenic bacteria uses fibrinogen, which they convert to fibrin to strengthen their network. Researchers studying the effects of the lumbrokinase say earthworms have been used for thousands of years within traditional medicine in Asian countries such as China, Japan, and Korea. In these countries, dry earthworm powder taken orally has been shown to promote healthy blood circulation. Now, Dr. Miguel Gonzalez, who is a functional, integrative, and holistic medicine specialist from Thousand Oaks, California, and the creator of the Lyme People website, suggests that lumbrokinase appears to assist in dissolving the excess fibrin that covers and hides the bacteria. It's involved in the regulation of blood clotting and also eliminates the abnormal proteins that are released as a result of the bacteria's activity. Then you have the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That involves exposure to 100% oxygen at a high pressure. It's often in a room called a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to promote wound healing. Now, there isn't a whole lot of research about the effectiveness of the hyperbaric oxygen therapy for Lyme disease, but in 2014, a case study from Taiwan reports that it treated Lyme disease in a person who hadn't responded to antibiotics. That may only be one person, but that's very significant if that one person is you or a loved one. Another option to consider is checking for services in medical school hospitals or clinics where they may have programs with ongoing research on how to diagnose and treat Lyme disease. If you've recently had a tick bite or think you might have Lyme disease, please go see your doctor right away to help guide you in which option is best for you. Now, of course, preventing Lyme disease is going to be your best option, right? So Lyme disease being a complex, controversial, and extremely challenging condition to treat, prevention is your safest and best option. Your first line of defense is to take precautions to avoid the ticks that transmit the disease. After all, no tick bites, no Lyme disease. Because the ticks can be as small as poppy seeds, you need to be vigilant to safeguard yourself, your loved ones, and even your pets from the ticks. And make sure when you come back from wherever to really give yourself, your children, your pets, a really good look over. I mean, check every part of you. And when you're going out, of course, you want to cover all of that area. To learn more about this astounding topic, you can check the references in the show notes below. God bless. This episode is brought to you by WYSK Spark Radio, the spark of the South. Listen to hits from the 70s to now. Find it on Live 365 Spark Radio. And that's our show. Thanks for listening. And until we meet again, enjoy every day to its fullest. God bless. For comments or questions, you can reach us by email at yopi@post.com. Also, check us out on Twitter at Dorisi and our Facebook pages at Yopi Studio or Louisiana Entertainment Association. Anything and Everything with Doris is produced by Your Own Production Incorporated and comes out every week, so come on back. Feel free to add us to your favorite RSS feed and iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Pod, and our favorite, Podbean. All links are found in our show notes below.